Yeah, I'm gonna get the cards out, you know what I'm saying? I don't have the cards with me right now. I gotta get the cards out. But I'm saying, this is the Nikon, you know what I mean? I want you to know this is the Nikon. The Nikon D5600. You know what I mean? When I'm talking about getting the cards out, it's with the understanding, knowing that this is the Nikon. When I got the iPhone, it's like people try and push the iPhone around. The Nikon got a history, a background. Like, you don't just push the Nikon around, you know what I mean? Nikon speak for itself anyway, you know what I mean? Canon speak for itself, no doubt, because I usually push Canon. But Canon is monotonous, repetitive. Like, I'll just be repeatedly doing things and never get the traction. Maybe it's the technology I was using at the time, but it wouldn't push me towards the next level of technology. It'd just be like repetitive, the same thing over and over again. Fire trucks, police cars. I was after a while. I was like, yo, Canon, alright. You know what I mean? The pictures come out good. You know what I mean? But Nikon, you know what I mean? I'm trying to get the lamb. You know what I mean? The SVJ, the Revolto, no doubt. But I went for the SVJ with the Canon. So the SVJ is like, not a dream of mine, but I don't just walk towards something and just be like, you know what I mean, it's not real. So, you know what I mean, I look at the SVJ like that. When I look at Porsche is similar. You know what I mean, I walk towards Porsche with the Canon, with the iPhone 11, and it was like, you know what I mean, I'm endlessly walking towards the Porsche and the Lamb. So I'm like, yo, I don't even go towards, the other brands, Mercedes, and you know what I mean? I don't go towards the other brands because I gotta wait until they come to me. You know what I mean? If I got cash money, you know what I mean? I might just catch the bus or the train or the plane or a boat. I might not do it the same way. They might lose a customer playing around with, waiting until I got cash money. That's how things work in real life. Real life is like that. I prefer a limo before I'm driving down the street. I don't want the police pulling me over. It's just the way it is, you know what I mean? The police pull me over, I'm like, what's your reason for stopping me, officer? And the police officer say, well, this is a roadblock. We're just doing routine checks. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, routine checks? I'm in my own joint. You know what I mean? I paid cash for this joint. Why is you pulling me over? You know what I mean? And it be like that. You know what I mean? Like, I just might not feel like getting pulled over at the time. So it just be like, you know what I mean? A confrontation type situation you're in just based on pushing your own joint. You know what I mean? You pushing your own joint, you get in a confrontation with somebody you never seen before. You know what I mean? Flexing their authority, saying it's a roadblock, it's a routine check. You know what I mean? Your Fourth Amendment rights, protection against unwarranted searches or seizures of persons, papers, and/or effects is what there is. You got constitutional rights to protect. So you don't want to be easily routine stopped and all these questionable situations they put you in based on having a gun, a badge, you know what I mean, and doing things the way they do them, you know what I mean. And I'm doing a hip hop headquarters. I'm doing vaccine distribution. I'm doing migration, the immigrants at the border. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing that. On Twitter, I'm doing all that. You know what I mean? Take a chance on them pulling me over. I don't really agree with all that. You know what I mean? Don't get near me like that. You know what I mean? I don't push you. I don't grab you. I don't know you enough to grab you and say, "Come here, let me see your driver's license." You know what I mean? The police. I don't grab. I don't walk up on the police and say, "Well, let me see your badge. Let me see let me see your credentials." You know what I mean? It's time consuming and it's belittling at times. You know what I'm saying? So when you got people that play games with the police, putting Crime Stopper, Crime Solver number in your beeper. When they had beepers out, people used to play games like put Crime Solver numbers in your beeper. You call the number back and it's Crime Solvers. Like, hold up, what's they doing? Playing games like that, like, you know what I mean? So there's people running around like that, believe it or not. So, saying that to say, I'm doing a hip hop headquarters, hip hop sick pay, hip hop retirement, hip hop vacations, hip hop bail, you know what I mean? hip hop bail is like the primary focal point of an artist being in that situation, you know, and not having nobody to help them out of a situation. Whatever reason you're in a bail situation, you know what I mean? You need to get out of there and produce music and produce videos or whatever you do to generate money. You can't be in a bail situation in a business environment. You know, it's always an issue because it's just a confrontational situation you're in. You have to be that person, and the police show up saying you're not. You know, so you know you don't want to be caught in the middle of some type of act or trying to promote yourself so you can get heard. You know what I mean? In a way that the police show up. You know what I mean? You don't want to be pushing your Lamborghini and, you know what I mean, revving the engine, and they show up saying, why you revving your engine? You know what I mean? You pushing your joint so you get heard, so you get known and all that. You know what I mean? All that's at stake. You know what I'm saying? So when they pulling you over, it's like, you know what I mean? They doing routine, you know, checks, and, you know, they want to see if it's alcohol, they want to see if it's drugs. They want to check all the differences of hip hop having that around. You know what I mean? Hip hop has that around. All that's always involved. You need a hammer. You need a hammer, because when a nail is sticking out, you need to hammer the nail. You know what I mean? You need a hammer. If you don't have a hammer and a nail sticking out, you trip over in the nail and the nail cuts your foot open and all that. That's not real, you know, for not having a hammer. So you need a hammer. So check it. I'm gonna post this joint to the streets. You know what I'm saying? This joint is going to the streets. I'm gonna post this joint to the streets. I don't post joints to the streets usually. You know what I mean? Usually I just said I'm gonna post a joint. You know what I mean? To the joints where, you know what I mean, I got no copyright infringement joints in 2024. I might post a joint. No, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna post a joint. I might post a joint. I'm not decided. I'm not gonna post a joint on the streets right now, cause the streets got, you know what I mean, I don't know what's following the streets. You know what I mean? I got a channel called The Streets by Dolla50. I don't know if I'm gonna post it to the streets. I'm gonna just post it to the YouTube corporation that you're watching now. I'm gonna post it to the YouTube corporation so, you know, everybody can see. You know what I mean? It's no favoritism to the streets. It's no ulterior motives to the streets hearing me, and you know, or a YouTube corporation hearing me. I'm going through a challenging time right now where YouTube is not giving me my diamond plaque. They manipulate my views. If you ever look at my videos, it's got 1 view, 2 views. I'm not even arguing with YouTube. You know what I mean? I don't want to start banging with YouTube and all that, and somebody get hurt and all that. You know what I mean? Because you don't ever see who's doing it. You know what I'm saying? So I just push my videos, let my videos speak for themselves. You know what I mean? Whoever see them, you know what I mean? You see them, you know what I mean? I just make sure the Nikon goes towards the Lamborghini now. If the Lamborghini don't respond to my efforts to, you know, get a Lamborghini, I do McLaren, I do Mercedes, I do something. I just won't just sit there and bog out talking about Lamborghini. You know what I mean? It might be futuristic and all that, but everything else is futuristic going electric. I don't need no gas guzzler for real, you know what I mean? So it's what it is. I'm going through some challenging times because people hear me speaking and they pretend they don't, you know what I mean? If you hear me say Lamborghini enough times and push my joint through video and music, and you know what I mean, and hear me loudly screaming Lamborghini, and you know, just push it like, you know what I mean, it's not that real, I might shop around. You know what I'm saying? It's not that serious, because I'm not trying to get stopped anyway. I'm not trying to get stopped. I'm not trying to get profiled or none of that. You know what I'm saying? I've been through that before. You know what I mean? Getting profiled, stopped. You scared to have a hammer. You know, they pull you over and say, "Where's your hammer?" You know, you don't have a hammer. Somebody pull up. You need a hammer. It's just crazy how it's set up. You know what I mean? It's set up, and then the terrorists show up with a complete dialogue of a hammer, and you know what I mean, you don't even look like a terrorist, and you're American. I never been out of the country. I never been to to Bahamas, Jamaica, none of that. I never been to none of them little neighboring countries, Cuba. I never been to them countries. So you don't need a passport to go to those countries. But I never been to those countries. I never been out of the country. I've met people from those countries, within reason of, growing up in New York City, growing up in an environment, in schools, seeing, knowing different people from different backgrounds. It was good knowing people from different backgrounds. Jamaica, I feel that. I say nothing, you know what I mean? I grew up like that. But when it came down to it, we didn't have no personal relationships where it's borderline now, you know what I mean? I may be there one day. I can't say that I won't ever be in a relationship with somebody from another country, because Americans bugging out. When the World Trade Center got hit, I stopped going around Americans because Americans was bugging out right there. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, I'm not going to blame it on the World Trade Center, but I'm going to blame it on Americans just being American. They're too confrontational, too challenging, but I'm doing a hip-hop headquarters. And when I said I was going to do a hip-hop headquarters, it was within reason of things being out of context. When things are out of context, no training, everybody dropping out of school to do an album, you know what I'm saying? Like, things not in their proper order. So I said, well, I'll do a hip-hop headquarters, have training, have hip-hop bail, for the bail situations. That's always present, because you get profiled and, you got jewelry on, you look like a drug dealer. Automatically, some type of criminal activities going on. So, they automatically assume that there's some type of crime being committed when they see you. You know what I mean? So it's like a hip hop headquarters. I could do a hip hop headquarters, but it's gonna be strict. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a hip hop police department. It's gonna be a hip hop courtroom. It's gonna be hip hop temple. It's gonna be a hip hop judge. The judge is gonna render decisions based on you having a bad record deal. You get a bad record deal, it's not like somebody can just steal your music. Nah. You owe what you call them for their music. You owe what you call him money for his music. You owe what you call him his money. You got to pay his money, says the judge. Now, that's real in real life. That doesn't exist. So, you know what I'm saying? To have a hip-hop temple, hip-hop courtroom, hip-hop transportation. Primary situation I was in that I say I was going to never let somebody be in the same situation. I was on a Greyhound bus. I was doing Weed Legal. Weed Legal was the album that I was doing. I wouldn't say I had 1 million views, but I had an audience watching everything that I was doing in the background. Not on the records, in the background. Because when I got to the Times Square, people was following the information. You can read between the lines. People was following the information, and certain artists was on Weed Legal, like Lauryn Hill, and it was like they followed the same information that anybody else would follow. You know what I'm saying? So when I had that level of information transferring on the Greyhound bus, it was like, you're not known for hip-hop music, hip-hop albums, but this particular hip-hop album, Weed Legal, was crazy on the audience, like on the Greyhound bus. Can you move your leg over? No, I don't have enough room over here. No, I'm saying, yeah, you know what I mean? On the Greyhound bus, Weed Legal, during the album process, album making process. It was confrontational situations on the Greyhound bus. You bumped the chair. You did bump the chair. things like that, and you know, well within reason, you can tell if somebody know who you are. You know what I'm saying? You can tell. But you know what I mean? That wasn't an issue. All right, you got that, boom. You know what I mean? I'm on the Greyhound bus. I'm not really making a whole lot of noise anyway. You know what I'm saying? I'm on the Greyhound bus, traveling, trying to accomplish what I'm trying to get accomplished. Because when I did weed legal, I didn't do it all in one time. Initially, I did one track. I did 2 tracks. I did 3 tracks. I did another 2 tracks. Then I did another 2 tracks, and this was a process that I created myself. And when I went to Greyhound, it was like every time was like, you know what I mean? It was it wasn't every time confrontational, but a crowded situation. You're on a crowded bus every time. Every time, all the seats taken, you sitting next to somebody, and you know what I mean, you never seen before, and you know, you're doing it like that because you don't have your own transportation. You don't have, even if you had your own transportation, the police play you out a certain way when they know you're doing the album. They play you close, like, if you're doing an album, the police play you close, like, we gonna play you close before you get there, because everybody don't have the discipline. The discipline is not learned. I mean, the discipline is not trained, you know, for you to have discipline. You just got out of school, not in my situation, you just got out of school, out of jail, out of wherever, and you're doing an album. You know what I mean? It's not quite the same discipline as getting pulled over, and what you pulling me over for? Get off me. You know what I mean? I was playing my music loud. I'm listening to my album. Yo, you don't even want to be there. Because when you there like that, it's like you wide open, maybe shooting people and everything. So if you're doing an album, you even more wide open, you even more open for somebody to take advantage of you that know what you're doing. You know what I mean? Know what you got on your jewelry, you know what I mean? Your jewelry links, you know what I mean? You pushing your joint. You know what I mean? Everybody watching the same thing you watching. You know what I mean? So it's like, you don't want to be in that situation driving down the street, and you don't want to be down in that situation on the bus either. So with hip-hop transportation, is what I'm pushing. Hip-hop transportation, yeah, so-and-so's in the process of doing the album. We're going to charge him so-and-so, you know, just pick him up. We're going to make sure he gets to the studio and, you know, get the album completed. You know what I mean? That's how I'm going to do it. Because I'm not going to leave no artist with 1 million fans, 1 million views, 1 million subscribers, you know, catching the bus. I mean, the potential's already there. But you got people that do that. You got producers that do that. They leave they artists out there, you know, for the kill. They do that. They let the neighborhood grow into monsters right around the artists, you know, get ready to blow up. I seen it before, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, how's you gonna let the artists sit around the neighborhood with monster rats and rodents growing into, you know, characters they never seen before, just based on you seeing you doing an album? You know how it is in the barrel of crabs. They don't let you out of that crab. Out of that barrel, they try and hold you down. They try and stop you from getting out of the barrel before they get out of the barrel. And don't have no potential for no album or nothing. That's just the way it is. It's just a bad situation to be in. But when you have producers that don't have the training and know-how to keep your artist from being in that situation, that's another thing. You know what I'm saying? Your artists you need to protect your artists at all costs, even if it costs you. It might cost you a couple of dollars. Listen, I'm gonna give you a couple of dollars. Just stay out of that situation right there as much as possible. I've seen it before, you know what I mean? Here's $5. You know what I mean? A producer could do that. But you know, producers don't do that. They holding on to their money so tight that they get caught up in the mix. I'm gonna tell you a situation I've seen myself. That's hip hop transportation. I seen a situation where I was in the process of doing weed legal.